Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to understand one of the most important files in the Playwright framework, which is playwright.config.js. This file acts as the central control panel for your entire automation project. Like instead of repeating settings in every test, we define them once in this config file and Playwright applies them everywhere. Now let's see how it works. So whenever we create a Playwright project, Playwright automatically will generate this file for us. And you usually find it in the root folder of your project, like here. So this is the main root folder, and where here we have this config file. So this file will tell us everything like where our tests are located, how long the test should wait for failing before failing, right? Which browser I should use to run the test cases, and what type of reporter I should be using, and whether tests should run parallel or one at a time, right? Think of it as the brain of your framework. So for learning purpose, let's simplify this file. Like the file they created, it's not that simple. We will remove everything from here. Like these are not required for now. Okay. So the very first thing is import define config. This define config is by default configured in the playwright test module, right? So at the back, it is doing a lot of heavy lifting for us. But simply we can also, okay, let's do one thing. We will simply create our own constant for the settings, like const config is equals to, right? We will define the config then, and here is our object which we want to define. Like this is the method we are calling define config, and inside it we will be passing all our arguments. Okay, the very first thing is we need to tell our system where our tests are there, which is our test directory where we will be keeping our tests, right? So here by default, like this is where we will be keeping all of our automation test cases. So simply we need to write test dir directory, right? It is located, we need to tell the path, right? So here we to in order to get the root directory, like we use dot and backslash, like this it's shown over here, right? And then once we reach here using dot and backslash, the next folder is tests, right? And if you want to move further, again you can use slash, and right, you can specify the another folder if you want to create a folder structure like done at the corporate level, right? So that is the very first thing. What it will do is it will tell, right, where the test cases are located in our framework. Okay, this is the most important thing. Now second thing is timeout. Okay, so there are two types of timeout. The very first timeout is like this is my test case, right? We can set a timeout for every test case, right? So that how much time it should take before it should fail, right? So I would say that I think by default the playwright it sets us out the timeout of 30 seconds, right? If all of your execution is not done within 30 seconds, right, our test case will fail, right? So but what we can do is instead we can define our own timeout right here. So what we will do is we will write, we want to change it to 60 seconds. So it should wait for 60 seconds, right? So this time, right, it is given in milliseconds, right? So 60 is milli, and in order to convert into second, we need to multiply that by 1000. Okay. So this test case will wait for 1 minute, right, for the execution. If our execution is not completed within 1 minute, it will fail now because 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute, right? Okay, the very next thing is expect. For now, just understand that inside every test case we have, right, we use assertions for the text validations, right? Expect, right, my page to have title. Okay, I think we are not importing. First of all, we need to import the expect over here, right? I am importing this expect, right? So it is uh, inside this test module of Playwright. Now I am expecting my page to have title, right? So if you see this website over here, okay, let me pull this on my screen. this website, right? So here we see the title as demo site, right? Demo site. So we are checking through our automation test cases that is the title coming correctly, right? So we will keep it demo site for now, right? And so first of all, whenever this test case will run, right, it will start executing synchronously, right, from top to bottom, right? If we are not using await, right, it can, it will not wait for this step to complete. It will simply come to this, it will check the title first, but we need to use await, right? Wait for the steps above this to complete and then execute this step, right? So even if the page is not loaded, it will start looking for the title and the test case will fail. So we will try, like we can try both of the things. First, we will go without using a wait, and second one with using a wait. So here the timeout, we need to set up timeout. Like it will wait for the title to load for 10 seconds, right? Then it will show us the results. We can set this as 10 for now. Okay. So it will wait for 10 seconds, and for this expect page to have title. If the title is not loaded within 10 seconds, it will fail, right? As here. So this expected timeout is for the assertions. We can mention over here on the top, right? Assertions timeout value. And this is test timeout value. By default is 30 seconds, which is pre-configured in Playwright. 30 seconds. Okay. Other than this, we have one reporter object. What is reporter? Like whenever the test cases are executed, right? So what should be the report format? By default, it's HTML for us, right? So we will this explore this in detail later on. Okay. And then we have, okay, then we create one projects, what we say array, and inside it we can set up multiple things, right? The very first thing we will be setting over here is our browser, like where you want to run your test cases. So you can give this name. First of all, you can give any name, like my personal browser, right? Or you can just give the name, whatever name you will give over here, that will appear in the label when we will execute the test case. I will show you once we run the test case. Okay. Okay, which browser you want to use for this? Dot dot dot, this is the format devices. Like there are a lot of things you can set up, but I think we don't need all of these. We just need the ones I am showing you. Okay. And here, like we have the option, you can go with Chrome, Edge, Firefox, right? Safari, anything you can set up, right? So desktop Chrome, so our test cases will be executed on Chrome now. Browser will open Chrome, right? I think that's all for now. We can run our test cases and we will see if later on anything else is required. Okay, okay. Now that we have created our object, right? This is the define config. We are overloading it and storing the value in config. Now we need to export it. What do you mean by export is, so this this object or config is known to this file, but in order to tell other files about this, we need to export it. So the format is export default and config. So now other files will get to know about this object. Now that we have exported this, we can remove whatever is here. We need not have this everything right over here. We don't need this object anymore. So see, it was looking very complex earlier, and now you see it's very simple. So we will keep on adding more things into this one, and this will grow bigger and bigger. So okay, let's execute our test case. Npx playwright test. So what is this npx? Npx refers to node module folder over here. And once we write playwright, I think, okay, I made a spelling mistake. So there is a module playwright inside this, as you see over here, and it will be executing the test. Testers are like whatever is there inside this test. So once you write test over here, it will automatically, the control will go to this file, playwright.config.file, right? Config.js, and it will look for okay, what is the configuration, and it will start executing the test cases according to the configuration mentioned over here in this config file. Press enter. Let's see how it goes. See, it is showing running two tests. Earlier, it was showing running more than two tests and multiple workers, right? Okay. So you see one test case failed and one passed. Okay, let's see. I know which one failed and why it failed, right? I was telling you earlier, if you see in the tests over here, this might have failed. Why it could have failed is, okay, I can click over here and see my report, right? So this test case failed. If you see, click on this one. Okay, it is saying that I was expecting, okay, what we expected the title for this site is demo site, but it is getting empty. Why it's showing empty? Because the thing is, this step executed even the site loaded. It did not wait for this site to load, and the test case failed because at the starting when the what we say when empty browser opened, right? Empty browser context opened. This site was not loaded and it didn't had any title. So that's why it is showing the title as empty over here. So close this report and it is saying press Control plus C to quit. Press Control C and you are back again in the terminal. You save this file and run that command again. Now both of the test cases should pass. See, two passed. And if you want to see the report now, just execute this command over here. Npx playwright show report. Okay, again that report is loaded on our local host and you see both of the test cases have passed now. I think that's it for now. See you in the next one.